What's up, y'all? Should we sit next to each other?
Yeah, let's sit next to each other. It's like weird
Hello?
how far apart these are. Hey.
Sorry, guys. I'm stressed out. It's my first time on stage in my life.
I couldn't tell whether he was joking, but you're a natural. It's gonna be great.
I'm shaking right now.
Really?
But I'm sitting in the presence of a god, so I'm good.
You're too kind. You're too kind. We just met. We're best friends now.
We actually just met 2 minutes ago.
And we know a lot of the same people. We love the NFT space.
And we're missing half the panel.
And the topic is building a successful online brand in the NFT space.
Look, that's my cool cat right there.
That's the, what is?
My cool cat.
Your cool cat.
Building a successful online brand in the NFT space.
So what do you have to say about that?
It's crazy. And it's a lot of fun. And I feel like, where do we start? I promise you we just met. It's so
we don't have a
funny.
moderator also, but it'll be good. So how do you build a successful brand in the NFT space?
I think just like building a successful brand in general.
Wait, start with what you do. Start with introducing yourself, what you do.
Okay. My name's Farokh. Farokh.eth, Twitter. I don't know how to present myself ever.
Tell us your story. Tell us your story, how you got here.
I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur.
Where are you from?
Montreal, Canada.
Do you speak French?
Yes.
Français?
Bien sûr. Tu parles français?
Oui, je parle français.
Whoa, sick. Shout out to my French people out there. Yeah, let's go.
Tout le monde parle français?
Do you guys all speak French? Are we switching the language?
Tout le monde ici parle français?
Shout out to my Canadians out there.
You know how they named Canada?
Where are you from?
They said C-A, N-A-D-A.
Oh my God, it's so cool.
So you came from Canada.
Yeah.
You're a French speaker.
Yes.
And then what?
Basically started my business at 18 on Instagram. I built an audience of 10 million followers in 2 years organically on the platform.
By doing what? What did you post?
Basically, I got into Tumblr in 2011, so 10 years ago. It's my 10th year actually building community online. And then I moved to Instagram early on in 2014. I just loved the platform back then. I knew it was just, I just saw something in it that I thought was gonna explode. That happened, fast forward a couple years. I'm in quarantine, curfew, back in December, and I found out about this app called Clubhouse. And so I got on, and I immediately just saw the power of just live social audio and how incredible it was and so good. And you know, we were stuck, like in Montreal, we had 8 p.m. curfew. We could not do anything at all.
Heard it was rough.
It was rough. And yeah, and then I just started jamming on Clubhouse. And back in February of this year, which was like 20 years ago in this space, I ended up at midnight in this like NFT room, a collectibles room. It was about all things collectibles, so physical, what's that? And so,
Physical world, we're over it.
Yeah, we're done. And so I found out about NFTs that night. And I remember that when I found out about it, I heard about it for the first time, like it immediately just clicked. And I met everyone that night. So that's the night where all of a sudden, like 50 people stormed into a room on stage. And it was Thank You X, Fuck Render, Victor Mascara, Beige, Ferocious, Odious, Chastity right there, like, and a bunch of other people. And I just started asking all the stupid questions. You know, I was like, what's an NFT? How does it work? What? You can do this. And for 4 hours, they answered all the questions. I remember feeling this community feel.
Amazing.
I woke up the next morning, bought my first NFT, quit everything I was doing, and this is my life now.
Love it.
What about yours? Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, so I live now in Puerto Rico most of the time.
Nice.
I'm also here in New York a bit. I was part of the team that brought Ethereum to market. I got into the crypto space. Woo!
Yeah, give it up. Give it up. That's
Yay.
the legend right there.
Thank you. And congrats to all of you, too. Yeah, I got into the crypto space, and I got interested in it around 2015, joined Consensus when it was pretty early in 2016, was chief marketing officer there from 2016 through 2019, through Ethereum's early crucial growth period. Started the first Ethereum cultural conference called Ethereal.
That's crazy.
Where we actually did one of the first NFT galleries and art auctions back in the day. If you Google Mike Novogratz $140,000 CryptoKitty New York Times, that was something that happened at Ethereal for charity. And Yeah, so built a lot of the narrative engine explaining decentralization to people, worked with the Ethereum Foundation, built a great team, built a set of practices around kind of community development in the space. Basically just kind of reached out to a nerve network of Ethereum developer meetups in different cities and made sure they were supplied with great projects to come speak, make sure they were set up with pizza and beer, make sure that they,
That's
were
important.
singing from not the same song sheet, but at least accurate, similar-ish song sheets, and learned so much because it's not like running marketing or running comms at a normal company, because it's a whole decentralized platform. And you don't get to say, I'm communicating on behalf of this. You get to say, I'm offering up some ways of telling a story that other people might use if it serves them. And what we were able to do with Ethereum was offer a technology in a context where people could add it to their identity and become a part of the Ethereum community and get that feeling. And that's why it's flourished so much, not only because it's great technology, but because it's been able to, it has its identity API open, so to speak, for people to add it to how they think about themselves and how they make their friends. And a lot of the early dev and non-dev meetups in cities like San Francisco, but also places like Romania, right, everywhere, they became like a religion. And young people especially would go to these meetups every day. They'd find jobs there, they'd find community there, they'd find friends there. And that was that kind of early kernel of the Ethereum community. So been very into NFTs since the beginning. NFTs are just a property of the Ethereum blockchain, right? Like NFTs have always existed. They didn't just start existing, just fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens, ERC20 tokens, lots of different kinds of tokens. But it's so cool to see them blowing up. People on this stage have been saying all day, how are we going to get mainstream adoption? These concepts are so difficult to explain. But this already is mainstream adoption. You guys are mainstream adoption. I look around at the people here, I'm like, this is mainstream adoption. Woo, we did it. We explained this well enough to start getting more folks from creative spaces, from the arts, from entertainment, into this world. So I look around and say, obviously, yes, we have further to go, but this is kind of what success looks
this
like.
Is it. It's here.
From my perspective of all those years ago, not being able to explain this to anyone.
How different is it actually? Obviously, it's grown a lot, right? But how does this feel for you, NFT.NYC right now? It must be crazy, because you're...
So crazy. It's just a great confirmation that, what I think is that so Mark Andreessen said, software is going to eat the world, right? And every single industry becomes a financial product at the highest level. Whether you're good at making baskets, or whether you're good at making food, or whether that thing eventually becomes securitized if it becomes a big enough company. And so every product at some level is a financial product. And what crypto is software coming for finance. And finance actually underlies everything. And so the fact that the arts and entertainment industry has intersected NFTs is amazing, but I actually think every industry is going to become the crypto version of that industry. But I'm so happy that the arts and entertainment were one of the first, because it brought such cool people into the space, right? We could have gotten, we could have had a weird industry that we disrupted next that would have brought in a bunch of losers.
It's the coolest space in the world.
Yeah,
right
we could have brought in a bunch of losers and lamos, but instead we brought in the coolest people on the planet.
It's crazy. It's actually really interesting hearing you speak about this, because you've been at this since the inception. So
Totally, but and the funny part is, the folks that were in early Ethereum should watch some of these talks at the first Ethereum, predicted all of this. Predicted that this would be just like this.
Did you, back then, did you tell yourself this is going to take 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, or did you know it would happen so fast? Because 4 years is nothing.
Yeah, so another thing I've seen today is every brand's going to have an NFT strategy in 10 years. 10 years?
10 months.
10
weeks.
It's not going to make it if you don't have an NFT and Web3 strategy right now. Not just for NFTs, but Web3. Web3, that's what we're talking about. It's like the transition from physical to digital. Now we're going from digital to the next evolution of digital, which is Web3. And not just NFTs. Everyone should have a crypto strategy. Everyone should figure out their regulatory and compliance hoopla for their particular orientation. And they should figure out how they're going to custody crypto, because they're going to need to. Figure out how they're going to assess their taxes and all that good stuff. And everyone needs to have a holistic strategy.
It's actually really cool to see, like, the space literally get built in front of us. Like, when you say about the taxes, it's not like, I don't know how many of you guys have that issue. You're looking for an expert ASAP, but yeah, I'm one of those in Montreal.
Totally.
Like in Canada, there's not a lot, but like it's just like looking for people to be able to help you to build. But it's crazy because then take a step back, like, whoa, this space is so new and it grew so fast. There's not even yet like enough tax
And I can
attorneys.
tell you, like, every single professional services organization that understands anything about crypto is flooded right now. And I know that because I didn't finish my story, which was after 4 years at Consensus, I started Serotonin, which is, I think, the largest crypto marketing company. And we also have a product studio, and we just built our first product and spun it out. And it's called Mojito, the sweetest way to mint. And it's back-end software, API-driven platform that lets brands, IP, all that stuff, IP holders, do d-commerce. So e-commerce, lots of stuff around that. Salesforce, Demandware, what we're building is all of the different tools together in a suite that anyone can, mostly major brands and rights holders, can use to start effectuating that Web3 strategy. And not just NFTs, tokens in general. And we want to bring everyone across. This NFT transition, I think, is as big as what kicked off in like 2009. So in 2009, after like Bitcoin started to exist, there were all these thoroughfares like Coinbase for bringing across monetary assets from fiat world, from centralized world into decentralized world. And those thoroughfares had toll booths set up on them, and people made a lot of money manning those toll booths. We saw that migration. The migration that we've started to see this year is of rights and IP, a new type of asset from a Web 2 context into a Web 3 context. And what makes it such a no-brainer for anyone that holds rights or IP in Web 2 is that you don't need to transmit it into Web 3. You can still hold on to it in Web 2. You're just unlocking value and liquidity that's stored inside the rights and IP that you already own by expressing it as an NFT and selling it as what I've been calling digital goods. Because I think similar to the word like tokens, which is now ubiquitous, NFTs are going to be ubiquitous, and we're going to be buying digital objects of all sorts all the time.
I mean, it's just going to be part of everything.
I have some little nephews, and they only want to buy things that are on the iPad. They don't want to buy physical stuff.
I mean, I have so much art at home in my basement that I can't put on the walls anymore because there's no more space. And it sucks because I love it all, and it's a lot of it from friends and people I love. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I can just pull up my OpenSea right now and just enjoy it. And I think it's the best thing, which I think this all leads to the importance of building a successful brand.
And community, so community just, yeah, to go back to the topic, right? Community is the new brand. Like, even that word brand, don't you just cringe when you say that? Like, brands?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a yucky word somehow? It feels like old, feels past time. There
so
won't
Web
be,
2.
there won't be brands anymore. There'll just be communities. And it's terrifying to think of brands overutilizing the word community and turning it into a fake word. But I think people will know. Like, I think it's a good word. I think it'll stay.
I love the word.
I think it'll stay. I don't think anyone can mess it up.
But the thing is, that's where I think it's important that all of us come into this space and come into play, is that there's going to be a point in time where, like, everybody's already trying to come in. You saw Zuckerberg rename his company, this, that. Everyone's doing NFTs, that's for sure. That's why I think it's important that us all don't act as gatekeepers, because that didn't work in Web 2, but act as protectors of the space in a way that we have to make sure that we always protect it and build this community together.
Custodians and stewards, right? Like, brands, brands.
I'm never using this word after today. I'm done.
A different word for
you just took it out of my
Can we come up
dictionary.
Can we come up with a word for brands that haven't decided that they're communities yet?
What should we call them? Shit.
We should put it up for a vote after this. But those things, they can't come into the space and say, how do we sell a bunch of stuff to these crypto people? That's the wrong way to do it. The right way to do it is say, how can we align and create new incentive systems that use and leverage our value to align with the people that are part of these communities? And no matter whether it's an individual, a brand, whatever it is, if you have that attitude, then it works. And if you're just trying to round people up and sell them crap they don't need, then that doesn't really work.
I think that's why also we're seeing a lot of obviously B words, brands, but coming
We call it brands?
brands.
Brands.
So it's trying to come in the space, but I think what's important if someone out here is building a brand and that's trying to enter the NFT space and talking about building an online brand in the NFT space, I think there's a lot of due diligence that has to be put in first. It's not like, it's just become impossible now to become successful unless you actually do your due diligence. And by that, it's just actually spending time within the space and the community.
Here's one thing that I think that brands and the community perhaps aren't thinking about enough, which is that an NFT is not an NFT. It's not all created equal. There are different underlying software systems and platforms of different qualities. And it's important to understand that this is built on a stack, and there are a lot of different options for building that stack. For example, if you are building on a non-EVM compatible chain, and there might be some kind of great reason why you've done that, you won't be able to access the kinds of DeFi tooling, DAO liquidity, all kinds of cool stuff that's going on in the Ethereum and EVM compatible world. And there might be a great reason to do it, but ask whether the blockchain that your NFT is being built on, is it decentralized? Do I think this blockchain has staying power? Do I think this blockchain will continue to exist? Are there a lot of other people using this blockchain for real things, building real stuff on this blockchain? Because you don't want to buy things that are going to vanish. You don't want to buy things that people aren't going to be working on and developing and making even better. And so with all this mainstream adoption and all these new people coming into the space, I think that my message to them is just trying to convey some of what's happened before in the context of there's actually different technology going on, and an NFT isn't always an NFT.
Yes. Sorry, it's just so stressful to be on stage.
Like it? How's it been?
Honestly,
How's it been?
I think I just went through a 30-second panic attack, but we're good. Okay. No, it's cool. I'm kidding.
Crushing it. Isn't he crushing it? First time on stage ever.
It's wild.
Amazing.
It's amazing to hear.
How does it feel? Let's break the fourth wall. Let's just totally tear down the fourth wall.
No, it's just really interesting. It's taking this all in and having put in the work every single day, in and out, day in, day out, trying to build brand in the space actually, and brand. And then just NFT.NYC comes and just hits you in the face, and then you're like, whoa, it's real. It's happening, and we're actually doing it together. And just earlier at the Edison Ballroom, we had a 2-hour session in community room, which was like a live rug radio. I just did a live Twitter space, which was pretty cool with Keith Grossman, Deez, John Knopf, and a bunch of people come on stage. It was
Love
super
those
fun.
guys.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Love NFTs.
Yeah, and it's just, that's when it really hit me. And I was like, wow, it feels different, but it's awesome to see that there's so many people that are genuinely interested in this movement and this community that we're all building together. And honestly, my best tip, because I see that we have 1 minute and 43 seconds left here for everyone out here, and it's the biggest tip and most important for actually building a community in the space, is just to be consistent. And I know that that's the word that you guys hear a lot, and that's given to every single person. But I promise you, and I swear to God, actually, that if you just keep going every single day and just keep giving at it, especially in this community, then you're going to get something out of it, and it's going to change your life in every level. And I think that NFTs is just the best gateway for that. It's just keep going, show up every day, give to the space, build this community, and just never freaking stop, because it's going to pay you back. Take some rest, take care of yourself, your voice, drink water, eat, but besides that, just keep going, because it's it's really incredible what's happening. I just had to let that out and tell you guys that because it's really cool. I fucking love you guys, yo. Let's go.
All right. I love it.
I had to
love
let it off my
I'm
chest.
all about it. I'm all about it. We did it.
We did it. Wag me.
Thanks, guys.
You guys are awesome.
Oh, do I have a question? What's your question?
My question is, as somebody who's been in it basically from the beginning, what aspect of NFTs today do you see that could happen that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah. So starting to see some of the integrations between DAOs and DeFi and NFTs, and I think that's going to be the direction things go. Like when I see someone liquidity mining CryptoPunks on a DEX, like that's where things are going. When I see something like fractionalization, that's where things are going. And then decentralization of projects, like having fully decentralized projects, even to the point where they don't have an entity. Maybe they're using Arweave, maybe they're using Filecoin, IPFS, and decentralizing the contracts and also decentralizing the front end. I think we're gonna have more anons. I think we're gonna have an interesting maybe bifurcation between totally decentralized projects that go anon, that go entity-less, and fully compliant KYC projects that are also gonna spring up. So we're going to start seeing that bifurcation. And the three categories, DAOs, NFTs, DeFi, GameFi, are going to collapse completely. And I would say GameFi is going to grow hugely, and people are going to be making a lot of money mining in-game assets of various sorts. Like Axie is a great model, but there's going to be more of that. And it could even serve a UBI-like function, where instead of being handed a certain amount of cash for not doing anything, perhaps one could play a game and actually add value inside of the game and get rewarded and have an interesting experience. And so kind of the interplay between financial games and meaning making, I think is gonna be a direction. So hopefully that wasn't too specific and too broad and weird.
That was amazing. That was a great question. Like,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're getting kicked off. We gotta go.
Bye.
Good improv.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.